How to make real estate your side hustle. If you're working full time and you want to start bridging that gap from having a job to becoming a real estate investor, this is a pivotal thing you're going to have to do if you want to get into real estate while you're working. At some point, you're going to have to take that jump, and we want to talk about that today and kind of what that looks like, because everybody will be on a different timeline. Some of you may be able to do it next week. Some of you may take a year or 2 or 5, depending on how much income you're making, how much you need to be bringing in with real estate. So my name's Dustin.
I'm Josh.
I'm always the last one, Corey.
We're the Wholesale Daily Show, bringing you tips and tricks on wholesaling, fixing and flipping, tax lien and deed investing, virtual real estate investing, all that sort of fun stuff. So if you're new to the channel, we would love that support by hitting that subscribe button, thumbs up, and the little bell would be great. And today's topic is pretty fun because most of you watching, we know that you're just starting out with investing. And at some point, you'll probably want to become a full-time real estate investor because it gives you a lifestyle that can be very flexible. Like, we are recording this show every day. And real estate has given us a lot of flexibility. There's times where we have to really double down and do a lot of work. We're in one of those phases right now. But there's no reason why you wouldn't want to really pursue this as a serious endeavor. And I always find it fascinating that everybody is completely cool going to college or university for 5 to 8 years to become a doctor or a lawyer, to go and make $100,000 to $150,000 a year. Well, getting, who knows, 50 to 100 grand in debt at the same time, and then your starting wage as a doctor or a lawyer definitely isn't going to be at that upper echelon. And coming back to real estate investing, just imagine how good you'd be at real estate if instead of becoming a doctor or a lawyer, you said, you know what, I'm going to take the next 5 to 8 years. I'm going to borrow $100,000 to live on, say, 20 or 30 grand a year. You'd need to be making money within the first couple of years, but say you took that same amount of money of, say 100 grand, and you live on that for a couple years while you learn real estate. How fast do you think you'd get good at this if you were spending 5 to 8 hours a day on it? It would happen so fast, and in fact, I would be willing to bet probably a finger. I don't really know you that much, but I'd bet a finger that if you had 100 grand and in the first 6 months you would be definitely making an income. Like, I would, as long as you're executing daily, maybe the first month of learning and then following along, you would get this stuff figured out to move forward with it. But there's this huge thing that society, a lot of real estate marketers, people want that get rich quick solution, right? They want that drug. And a lot of people market it that way because we've even had people with our tax lien and deed business go to one tax sale and get properties that were worth, $100,000, $200,000 just from going to one sale. And I think that's very inspiring. And as humans, we kind of are drawn to things that have a flashy title. It's in our human nature. But we really just need to realize that with your candy, you have to have vegetables. And that's why you'll even see us a lot of the time do a catchy headline, because we know that you need candy, you need vegetables. Because if you're just eating vegetables, it's going to be boring and no fun.
Yep.
But if you're just eating candy, then you're not going to be nourished, right? Josh loves candy. Corey loves candy too.
Yeah, we're the candy
These guys
brothers.
really love candy. I'm a chocolate guy. I guess that's chocolate. That's candy too. But you need to really mix the two of them. And coming back to real estate as a side hustle, basically what you need to do is carve out more time to go and do this. And what's fascinating, can you pass me my phone there, Josh?
Yeah.
Is nowadays your phone is a perfect tattletale on how much time you're spending on it. So, like, for example, it shows you your screen time, okay? And for me, so far, I have an hour and 10 minutes on my phone today before it's about quarter to 1. And people are addicted to their phones. They're watching TV, they're on their phone, and it's really holding you back in many ways. So if you really want real estate to start off as a side hustle, you're going to need to specifically plan your time and execute it. And this is going to be super hard to do because you have habits, you have routines that you're already doing, and you're going to need to break those routines. And that is super hard, especially if you have your family, your wife, and your kids, and you have all of these obligations, and people are going to expect things from you. And when you start to deviate from that, it's going to be very hard. All of the system that you've created around yourself is going to try to force you back to that habit and behavior that's not going to allow you. Then you're going to get a gust of inspiration, and maybe it's from this video, and you're like, yeah, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to write down all the crap I need to do. And the problem is that if you ask an alcoholic who decides that I'm going to quit drinking, and he says that at 10 a.m., there's a different person behind the control stick at 8 p.m. after a long day of work. And, it's I'll just have one beer, and then away you go, right? Yeah. And that's exactly what it is with real estate as well, is the person who's watching this now isn't the same part of your personality that is going to go and execute this maybe right after or hours later. And you need to kind of know yourself and know that you're going to be up for a challenge when it's time to execute. Mm-hmm. And one of the best ways that we found is to just hold each other accountable and make like little bets. Yep. I sprained my ankle on the weekend or last week, and this weekend I wasn't able to really move much. So I'm ashamed to admit, but on Saturday I spent like 6.5 hours on my phone. Just Instagram, YouTube, watching videos, and I felt like a piece of crap after. I was like, why the hell did I do this? So now I have a thing with Corey that every morning when I come in, I have to show him my phone and make sure that I haven't gone over, at this point, 3.5 hours, which is a healthy dose. And yesterday I think was 2 hours and 40 minutes. And to my defense, probably a good chunk of that is YouTube learning stuff, but that can definitely get derailed fast. Yeah. Any comments, Corey?
Yeah, we meet up with some guys every week from church, and last night we were just talking about creative stuff, and there's a bunch of guys that are creative, and there's some famous authors that like the guy that wrote the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis, and then the guy that wrote the Lord of the Rings, J.R. Tolkien, and a bunch of other writers back in England. They used to meet up at a pub every week and just share what they were going through as writers. And they used to share like their stories and what they had been working on, and they credit that to being what got them through like some of their severe writer blocks, just having that accountability. So we were talking about that last night, and then I just had this like wave of inspiration. So once all the guys left, I went onto my Netflix account and I deactivated my profile. I share it with Dustin, so I couldn't delete the whole thing. But then I just deleted my password because it's one of those super long passwords. So I just deleted it from LastPass, so I can't log into it. And then when I went to bed, it was like 10:45. I was pumped. I was getting up early with Joshua to the gym. Not in the same bed, in different places, just so we're clear. But then like I had this idea for that I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's cool. But then it wouldn't leave my brain, so then I had to write it in our sauna. And then it just kept like the ideas kept coming, and I had like before I knew it, I had like 10 ideas that I wrote out for this idea, and I think it's actually a decent idea. And I did some very sleepy research last night. So it was like 12:30 by the time I got, like, actually my brain cooled down a little bit. But, I don't even know where I was going with that. So probably about accountability. But, yeah, like the accountability of a bunch of people or even a couple friends doing the same thing is super powerful. So
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Good stuff. So, coming back full circle to real estate as a side hustle, start, pre-plan, pick the direction you want to go in. Pick a couple people you want to follow for information on real estate, whether it's us or whoever, but just don't think you're ever going to get to the point where you have all the information and you're not going to make a mistake. You're better to have like 1 ounce of learning and 3 ounces of doing. So keep that ratio in mind and just be active with it. So watch this video and ask yourself, all right, what's 5 things I can do? Write them down and then go do it. And then eventually that side hustle of real estate can hopefully get you to the point where you can start doing real estate full time. Timeline's going to be different for everybody. And if you're fortunate enough to maybe have some money in the bank, maybe you can next week pull the plug and be like, hey, I'm going to make this work. And that's kind of what we do. We're we're in real estate. We have no choice but to always make it work through thick and thin.
Yeah.
Sometimes it gets thin.
Yeah.
But thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button, the like button. Appreciate that. And we'll see you tomorrow.